Alright, hey guys, this is Turek. And today I'm going to do a video, a little something different. So forgive me if this doesn't go as smoothly as I want it, but as far as me, because I'm not like writing a script or stuff like that, and I'm not reviewing a One Piece chapter yet, but this is about One Piece Season 2, and some information has come out, including more cast member stuff, which I'll look at. But first I want to go over the main part here is that One Piece Season 2 will stop just short of Alabasta. And I want to go over that. We have a note here from Oda, so kind of do my own little loose thing here. This is a note that came out. This is through Netflix website. I'm not playing the videos, but I'm going to go over. This is a note here. Oh, you know what? I should take. All right. So yeah, Oda released this information, and it just this shows us here that we will not be getting to Alabasta. Actually, now that I was thinking about this this note was out like 2 or 3 days ago. I find this to be a good. I think this will be a good idea because I'm looking at the places they're going to cover, and I suspect what they'll do is they'll give about roughly 2 episodes to an area for this for most of the arcs. Not sure about Log Town. Log Town's the one that's gonna concern me the most. So they're gonna cover Log Town, Reverse Mountain, Whiskey Peak, Little Garden, and Drum Island. So actually, I'm wondering if they're going to do even more episodes. To me, I think they'll have to go 10 episodes this time to get all that. So 2 episodes for each. This way a little bit. 2 episodes for each arc area, roughly speaking, particularly the later ones, particularly after Long Town. Well, Reverse Mountain won't have to, maybe, but especially Whiskey Peak, Little Garden for sure. Little Garden's gonna probably be the long, and Drum Island. Little Garden and Drum Island are probably gonna be the longest ones here, which are probably I looked at the number of episodes and chapters too to compare that. But first, yeah, Little Garden and Little Garden and Drum Island will probably need the most time to flesh out what's happening. Little Garden in particular, because this is going to be the point where we get more into the Baroque work stuff. Whiskey Peak will start it by showing the organization, and we got the hint of it. One of the better things Season 1 had done was showing the scene where, I think it was Mr. 7, approached Zoro to join their organization, and Zoro turned it down. And because they don't want anyone to know about the organization, the Mr. 7, who's not within it, Mr. 7 tried to kill Zoro and failed. So we got that bit, and that was because that was in the manga and anime. Zoro didn't reveal that stuff to us until he was having a conversation with the other members of Baroque Works who are stationed at Whiskey Peak. So that's just one of many things they did great with that. So there's that. And actually, now that I think about that too, I have to do a little side tangent there. I wonder if sorry, I was looking at my OBS. You know what? I should go like this. There. I wonder if they'll have Crocodile address that. And I'm assuming it would have to be Crocodile's decision, move Mr. Zero to the other Baroque work agents and officers and less regular agents, I guess I don't know if you call it agent. What would you call the rank and file ones? Just the other bounty hunters? The other ones on Whiskey Peak were bounty hunters. I'm going to say agents right now as far as perhaps, I don't know, officer agents. Officer agents, no, that's right. They had frontier agents and officer agents. So I can't say agents is the regular rank and file members. Anyways, Mr. Zero, we know as Crocodile, he started his organization many years ago. What was it, like 12, 13 years ago now? And he probably went out and started recruiting secretly though, because none of the even the high-ranking officers knew who he was until the Alabasta stuff, where he brought them in to help him with his final plan. So, anyways, being that Crocodile recruited all them, I'm sure at some point he probably started hearing reports in the East Blue about a very successful bounty hunter named Zoro, the demon pirate hunter, who goes around and who's been making Zoro's making his name for himself for 4 or 5 years probably now. Actually, did we ever get a timeline on that too, of when Zoro left his hometown, left the dojo? I forget the name here, and he went out to start. I don't know. What was his plan too? Did he plan to being a bounty hunter? Because remember how we saw how what's her name, Tashigi, doesn't regard him as very honorable for going into that line of work, because he so she's like doesn't she doesn't like I don't know how she compared to like pirates at the time when she didn't think he was a pirate, that he had joined the pirates, that would be but so I'm sure I bet in her mind now Tashigi would unless she's changed her mind now in recent events, but I'm wondering if earlier on in the pre-time skip era she probably hoped to capture Zoro and take whatever swords. She probably figured if he's like other pirates, that are very successful like him, he has strong Meito swords, and we know he does. So at the time he had Yebushiri, Kitetsu III, and Wado, and she probably wanted to capture him in order, because she felt that the swords were being dishonored, being owned by him, and him, because especially since she probably, I bet bounty hunters were ranked a little higher in her mind than a pirate. But once he sunk lower, and she knew she'd met him there, because she probably was frustrated too at that point, realizing, oh my God, this guy who seemed so nice and gentleman-like is actually a dirty pirate now. Was a bounty hunter, so he just went down lower. So yeah, she probably was very frustrated at that and wants to take his swords from him. Anyway, Zoro, I got off of there. Zoro we left at some point, and I wonder what he planned on doing with himself before he went into pirate hunting, or did he just realize right away he could probably just make a lot of quick money fast, a cash grab, if you will, of sorts. But with that kind of work, it's almost perpetual, in that we're still in this kind of great pirate age. At this point 2 years ago, or not 2 years ago, this would be only 5 to 7 years ago now when Zoro started. To wander around the East Blue capturing pirates. And where was I going with that? Okay, yeah. So he's making a name for himself, and Crocodile hears about this, and he probably had sent Mr. Seven to present the invitation to Zoro. So the question there too, though, is what position would Zoro be in? Would he have stationed him at Whiskey Peak, or perhaps at another place? I'm thinking that maybe if there's enough people there, he'd put him in another island. I bet they have more than one station there, or had, at the entrance past Reverse Mountain to try to capture weaker pirates passing through from who come in there from the various blues. So that's something we have to keep remembering too. Like, that's funny to think about the potential. Like, if Law or Kid or Beijing or Bonnie had come through there, if they would have encountered these that Whiskey Peak at the least, and potentially other bases, what the kind of chaos we would have seen. Well, with all the ones I just mentioned, under the right circumstances, yeah, probably unless it was worse, unless the all those members I mentioned got ridiculously drunk as they tried to do with the Straw Hats, the Whiskey Peak bounty hunt members of Baroque also would have no chance against those other members I just mentioned, particularly because like Law, Kid, Beijing, and Bonnie, all the captains, their abilities give them quite the advantage. So, Kid will just start pulling all the weapons away for them. He can disarm them. Law can kind of disarm them too, because he can just turn a giant room on and mess with them the way we saw him at the Sabaody. Beijing can keep a whole army of people inside of him, so he has the manpower to fight back. So they'll probably see some losses on both sides that way. And Bonnie too have an ability that can probably affect the ride range, would just turn most of them into kids or old men, and then her crew could just beat the snot of them easily. That's quite the what if. That would make a good what if. I don't do what if videos really. Really, I never have, I don't think. I just like to do the what ifs like that in my head, a short version. So anyways, Crocodile must have sent the invitation out. Zoro turned it down. I would love to see if Crocodile in the live action version, I don't think he ever said anything to Zoro. I don't know if he ever talks to Zoro. He sees Zoro. When he captures Zoro, Smoker, Luffy, and the others inside that prison, and he comes and presents himself out. That point is where Smoker realizes what's going on, because the Straw Hats already knew because of Vivi, but the Smoker was just there chasing down the Straw Hats. I hope they would make a point there to have it where Crocodile sees Zoro and is like, "Oh, you're the one I tried to recruit, and you killed one of my officers or frontier agents." He's still not. I still call him. When I say officer, if I say that in a slip of tongue, I'm still referring to all the agent ones that are like 1 through 13. Even though I know there's a difference, officer agents in there is like only the top 5 groups, the pairs. The other ones from 6 down are considered frontier, if I recall correctly. So that would be a good scene, long story short, of this tangent, to have Crocodile see that and have a brief conversation about that, where like he's like, "Oh, you're that guy," and then Zoro's like, "Yeah, I don't work for." If I'm gonna work as a pirate hunter, I do it myself. I have to be the boss. Like he said to Mr. Seven actually in the live action, he wants to be the boss. I think he said number 1 in there, but it's funny that now the way Crocodile wants to do it is he's Mr. Zero, which almost sounds cooler, but I don't know, Mr. One, Mr. One or Mr. Zero. I don't know how that's interesting, but actually that's funny they said that now that I think about it, because Zoro said to Mr. Seven, "I want to be number 1," and he's gonna fight Mr. One, the highest ranking officer agent in Alabasta. So, shit. Yes, we're gonna get we're gonna cover only the first part of the Alabasta saga. Well, technically, Logtown technically is the end of the East Blue. We really didn't get to the end of the East Blue, but the way they did that, I think, was for the better. The transition from Logtown to going into Alabasta works better to have that as a little prologue where they're finally at that main spot. It's gonna be very poignant. Maybe we'll get some more scenes with Roger too. We don't get enough Roger early on in the early parts of One Piece. We're getting more stuff now, especially since we had the flashback in Zoe, and we had the stuff in Water 7, Wano, and so we're getting more there. So I would hope they can find some ways with stuff, like especially this would probably be a good point to have that actor they showed in the first season playing Roger, to have him do a little more. Maybe they'll have something else between him and Garp. And by the way, that'll be something too where they might need more episodes. Need more. Hopefully, they'll be able to produce more episodes for this season. This is the point I think where they're going to be showing. Unless they save it for Alabasta, they may have to. Maybe if there's not enough time to condense, if they do more, they have to do it later. But they'll want to probably start doing some stuff showing the training of Kobe and Helmeppo under Garp and Bogard, his right hand man. So that stuff I was expecting to be in this, but now I'm guessing this kind of 2 episode per island season. That might be cramming it in a little bit, especially again now I'm going to go back to Little Garden. Little Garden is where we're going to see a good fight with the Straw Hats against Mr. 3 and Mr. 5 as well, and then we're going to have the Giants in there, and that's the arc I'm looking forward to the most as far as the action. And Drum Island I'm looking forward to because of Chopper's flashback. So anyways, where was I going? Logtown. Oh, I can't. That's right. That hand is on the camera. Got Logtown. Whiskey. They're gonna have the Capes, Whiskey Peak, Little Garden, and Drum Island. So I don't think they'll need more than 1 episode for the Cape for Reverse Mountain though. So we'll just have to see. I don't think they specify anywhere how they check it out. Okay, so anyways, also they mentioned he talks about Robin, and I don't know if they mentioned Robin being casted yet. That's another part. When I'm done here, I want to go into the casting information. So anyways, I want to finish off by saying yes, I'm excited to see that for them to hold off on Alabasta because that's going to be probably be a more extensive one that they'll need to. It'll be like a long movie. That'll be like a. How long would they need for that though? 3 hours, 4 hours. They're going to have to have it. They're probably going to introduce Ace. That's the thing too. That yeah, the very cliffhanger of this arc. I'm sure they'll show Miss Sunday. Well, no, they show Miss Sunday, all Sunday, Robin. I think at the end of Whiskey Peak, but they'll probably at the very end too show her in Crocodile, right at the very end of this season when they're leaving after Drum Island is over. But I'll also be the point there where, what's his name? What's his name? The guy who turns into a bison zone. He's gonna remember that law that Ace was there and he was looking for Luffy. Also, he's chasing down Blackbeard because that's right too. We should be getting a Blackbeard thing in this arc, where they mentioned that they were attacked by a pirate named Blackbeard. There's just so much there that I can't wait. But anyways, yeah, I think this is going to be great for a long term now to see that they don't condense everything too much because they kind of suffered. Some parts of the last season I think suffered for that. I was a little disappointed how they did Don Krieg. I know everyone else. I see a lot of comments saying that Don Krieg got what he deserved, and I disagree with that wholeheartedly. Don Krieg was a good character, like a foil to Luffy and Sanji. He was like, I got this from another YouTube video who was making a video kind of in defense of Don Krieg, and I think I brought this up before, but to do a long story short, how Don Krieg was a good foil to Sanji is his how he doesn't really have any rules and he'll do whatever he has to succeed, while Sanji has certain rules about how he conducts himself, especially like he doesn't fight with his hand, he'll not fight women. He's got a certain moral code and social code of how he handles himself to present himself like a gentleman. And that was a great contrast between him and Krieg. And I thought the fight between Krieg and Luffy was pretty cool. And with all of Krieg's neat little tricks, but Luffy being able to overcome. And since Luffy doesn't like people like that either, because he's kind of conniving and backstabbing stuff. So that was a good foil for both of them. And I was disappointed he didn't get his day. At least he's still alive in the manga, because we saw him recently in one of the chapters. He's at Full Island, it looks like. Because we saw Pearl there too. I don't know if we saw, what's his name, Geen? I know we saw Pearl and Krieg there. Shit. So, one last thing I want to point out. I don't know why Oda had to put this there. He talks about how it's only a verbal pledge between him and the showrunners and stuff about making this show the way it is. I call bullshit on that. I don't think that they would. I think Oda would have to. I'm sure Oda would have lawyers and Toei or someone else who helps him or maybe Shonen Jump would say to him, you have to have that in writing so that they can't just squeak by and make certain changes and stuff like that. We've seen how the other adaptations of manga have been shit on. This is why when I first made a video with the teaser trailer, I said over a year ago that I was not. I was expecting shit out of this show. I was expecting it to be bad, I guess, and I didn't have any hopes. And I've been proven to be 100% and more wrong. So, but I don't think a verbal pledge. I'm sure that whoever these showrunners said that to him, like they had a video call or a phone call with him and said, I promise you I want to make a good thing. But I'm sure there's still some contractual thing between Netflix or Tomorrow Studios with Oda's side to say, hey, we want this thing done right. Oh, because there's someone there was like a thread, I was reading a Reddit thread where people were taking it the wrong way, but it was something about Oda saying somewhere else, maybe on X or something, that that they were getting a little frustrated with him and his changes, but I think someone else was saying, no, he's just joking about that. But it appears very sure that he has final say over certain changes to make sure that they don't, do change things to make it not the way. Especially like the biggest one to me, I know if Oda didn't have full control, the biggest thing I could see them trying to do is put some kind of romance among the crew, which is one of the biggest no-nos that Oda has always stated I'm not going to do. The only caveat I have there is I suspect in the post end of the story, if he jumps like 10 years, like kind of like Kubo did with Bleach, I think then there might be a few shipping things that we might see with some Straw Hat members. What was the one I was thinking about one time? Oh, I can't remember now. Was it because Sanji would probably be with Pudding, likely. It was we know Usopp. That's one exception. Usopp has his what's her name at Orange Town, and I was thinking of one. Was it Luffy and Boa probably, but was it Zoro? Not Robin. Zoro and Robin would be one I would ship. I don't know if Oda would do that, but it's just I feel like there'll be some post stuff like that where it's like, okay, now that the adventure part's over and these guys, they're gonna get. I can jump ahead years where they've matured and they want to settle down, and then maybe he'll put together a couple characters he has shipped internally and has it written down and such, but he doesn't want to put it into the present story. He wants to focus on the adventure. He doesn't want to do drama like you get in other television shows of characters on the same crew or teams who are lovers, but then it creates problems during the main story. So yeah, that's the thing I feel would be if some other team of people were put in charge of making One Piece, and even if they did make most of the story real good, I'm sure they would start shipping characters together. They probably would do like Sanji and Sanji and Nami would be the obvious ones. I think they'd start having where they're sleeping together and stuff. They're lovers, and all that stuff. So I'm very excited for that. It makes me wonder how they'll do Alabasta and even if Skypiea, because I don't see either one of those on their own being very long. Maybe that's why they're doing it. Maybe after they make this longer season, they'll do Alabasta as a shorter one, and then they'll have Skypiea. Maybe they'll space it apart enough. Like they won't release them all at the same time. They'll have the Alabasta thing. Then we'll go into the Skypiea. Actually, Skypiea could be a little longer. I guess Skypiea could be one season for maybe another 8 episodes or less, maybe 6 actually. So I was wondering about that for the longest time, how they'd handle Skypiea, because it's such a separate thing. I didn't know how they would handle having that as a little arc on its own. Because then I don't know what they'll do with Foxy, but once we get into Enies Lobby and Water 7, oh boy, is that going to be a season. That's the one I'm looking forward to most in the pre-time skip stuff. Well, yeah, that once we get to Marineford, of course, but they'll probably have to. How would they do that? Maybe they'll have to have a 12-episode season for something like Enies Lobby Water 7, where it's split in half, 6 episodes for each area. Anyways, yeah, because back to Alabasta, I'm not sure how long that could be to be its own season. I don't think they could do more than if each season. Well, I'm thinking it would be the total time of that main part once we get there would be 3 hours. So whatever number of episodes, what timing they would make it to run that would probably be still a shorter season, but an exciting short season. So, now I want to go into this bit. This will end this video. I wanted to look at some of these cast members. So they already looks like they got Nefertiri. I hope these are right. They got the list here, and I'm going to go over these pictures. I just wanted to talk about it. I think most of these people nail this perfectly. They got here now. They got Cobra, and I don't know. I only know one of these actors off the bat. And that's the Mr. 3. We'll get to him when we see him. But so they got this gentleman named said Hild. Yeah, I'm going to be careful with some of these names. I'm terrible pronouncing them. To be Cobra, and I think he's a good match. Other than I'm going to same thing with when we get to Smoker. They both look a little younger than I think their characters are supposed to be. I'm sure that's easy to make them look some makeup and stuff to age them up, but he looks good otherwise. I've nothing as complaints there. And this one's next. So people were guessing for a long time that Jamie Curtis was going to be Dr. Kreia. Someone asked her about that, and she said she'd be interested, But I guess that isn't going to pan out. They got this woman here named Katie Segal. She sounds familiar. And with this one, I think this one and Dr. Herlock just came out recently. And yeah, again, I have no qualms here about this one. Yeah, there's Dr. And this is funny. His name is Herlick. Herlick. Oh boy. The jokes write themselves. And he's going to be, I can't wait to see how they do the hair on him. So this is going to be Chopper's mentor. And yeah, I don't think we've heard any word yet how they're going to do Chopper. So this is going to be a great to see. This guy, I'm hoping this guy must be good, how do you put it? Dalton was the name of the guy, yeah. Because his speech is the one I'm looking forward to most. His final speech that he says to Dr. Dalton and that twit of his the drum island former monarch. Okay, so they got some of the agents too. So we got this gentleman named Daniel playing Lasker playing Mr. Nine. Again, yeah, they're just really finding good people that can make the look. I wonder if they have to present all this to Oda Pride for casting. I feel like they must do that stuff. You got Mr. Five. He's gonna show up quickly. So and Miss Valentine. Yeah, I don't know any of these people either, but they just fine for me to play these parts. I'm sure I can't. I hope the only thing I'm thinking is because Miss Valentine is quite a sadistic kind of woman. I hope this girl's picture here just doesn't scream that at me, but she looks like her. So I can't. That'll be interesting. Here we go. David Deschmichel. Can't say his name either. So I know him from what is it? He's in Dark Knight. He's in the Suicide Squad. I think he was in Ant-Man as well. So this actor, I'm very excited that they're getting someone who I guess you could say I know he has the acting chops to play a villain. He especially when he was in Dark Knight, he played this. He had a small part there where he's one of the followers of the Joker, and Two-Face or Harvey Dent captures him and is trying to question him about where Joker is, and he played quite the insane guy there. But this role's going to be a little different. He's got to be more, Mr. Three's more of a calm, calculating type there. But he's got everything out. I'm sure he can handle that role. So I'm excited to see him out of this role. Because I haven't seen much. I should look up what else he is. The only last thing I saw him in was The Suicide Squad, where he played that guy who could shoot those weird paint thingies or whatever. And he had this, he was a little psychotic and always saw everything looking like his mother. Good character. Okay, so we got Dorian Broggy's actors. That's going to be awesome. Also, again, though, he looks kind of young. How are they going to do that? Okay. I'm sure they have reasons. I'm not going to judge until I see it. Are they going to have them do the laughs, though? These guys the characters got two of the most iconic laughs among the One Piece character roster. The other one to me, in my mind after that would be Whitebeard, having those very unique laughs. So this is probably also why they're making it short. They're probably going to, I hope, well, not, that doesn't count. Hopefully they got a good budget now, because these guys they're have to do some scaling stuff, because these two are going to be 100-foot something giants that we meet in Little Garden. Also, I bet that's why they're doing it in South Africa again, right? They're going to have to pick a jungle area, right? Does South Africa have jungles? I know there's a desert near there. That's probably where they're going to film the Alabaster stuff, unless they go elsewhere. Because sometimes people go to, was it Morocco to film desert stuff? So we'll see. But anyways, these two will be interesting to see how they do that, figure that stuff out. Oh, and Crocus. Clive Russell. Don't we know him? This will be good to see, too, because he's going to be a person we don't even realize at this point knows Roger and helped Roger out. Actually, I should look him. I think I do know him. Oh, right. Isn't he the one? He was in the 13th Warrior. Okay, I do know him. I think he was the one. I think he was the one with the long dark hair who sacrificed himself in the caves to help the others escape, right? Let me look at images. He's great then. I forgot about him. Because he looks different now. Yeah, I remember his face. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he was the one. I forget his name. You gotta watch 13th Warrior. It's a really good movie with Antonio Banderas. Wait, that was him? No, that wasn't him, was it? Where is. Yeah. Anyway, I'm pretty sure that's the one I'm thinking of. That's awesome. I do know this guy then. He's gonna be great, Krogus. How are they gonna do the whale too, though? Now here's Smoker. This is another one. Cause I thought Smoker was like Smoker always appeared to me to be someone who's like in his like 40s or like late 40s. This guy just I don't know. He's got the right face, but he's also just like okay. I keep thinking like they don't look a little too young, but he's gonna be a character that's in there for a while. So I don't want someone who's gonna perhaps croak someday. So no, because Croak was a very important character throughout the series too. So good on them for picking him. Oh, and Tashigi, do we know her? Tashigi's gonna be interesting. How is this gonna see Julia? What did they say her name's from? Star Wars Young Jedi. So is she a voice actress? Yeah, they don't have anything Robin though, do they? Oh, this Wapple. Okay, he's gonna be Wapple. Rob Coletti, he looks familiar too. So no complaints here. I don't know this. I don't think I know this guy, but it's gonna be interesting to see him just be this buffoon of a villain who thinks he deserves to be king of uh Drum Island. He gets run out by Blackbeard and comes back a couple. How long did he stay there for? Unless we got Dalton, and this looks perfect. That just guy almost looks like he could be a younger actor who could play a younger version of much younger version of Garp. He looks very friends with very much of what's his name? I can't think of his name now. Vincent. Oh, I forgot his last name. So I just noticed they don't have Vivi among here. They haven't casted Vivi yet, and they don't show anything for Robin. So we don't know about Robin, Vivi, and well, obviously, yeah, we're probably not going to see much of the other. So we have Mr. Five, Mr. Three. Oh, they didn't have Miss Golden Week here listed either. So yeah, Vivi, Robin, and Miss Golden Week, who are also three characters we'll see in this season, are not here. Interesting. Okay, so there's still more to casting to do. They just started filming this a while back, I think. So we got plenty of time for them. They're probably still working on it. Maybe they just haven't released it yet. So yeah, I'm very excited for this to see what's going on here. There's something about the cast script. A script? Sorry, that's all I got for today. I wanted to go over this letter in particular. I'm very excited that they're not going overstretching themselves or cramming the show. So that gives me hope for the future with other seasons that will need a lot of time, like the Ennie's Lobby, as I said, and probably like Dressrosa. Wonder how they'll handle stuff like Fish Island. I'm sure they'll trim quite a bit. I think Fishman Island was kind of a bit long, and I'm sure they'll figure out ways to make that better so it's not so long. Because that's when we get to that part, you have that. Then we gotta get into Punk Hazard. That one too felt a bit long. Those two I hope are both trimmed down nicely. That's something probably the One Piece Wit Studio production is going to do too, is trim down arcs like those two in a way that makes it far more palatable to watch. As for changes, other changes here, yeah, I hope they don't make too many changes with stuff. I don't think. What would I think about where they made a change in the other one? I just hope they don't keep trying that stuff that they did with Garp, where they introduce characters too soon. I don't know how they'll do stuff like that. But probably like they don't where they show anything of Whitebeard sooner, because we're gonna meet Ace. Probably see Ace. Yes, I was like, they didn't say anything about Ace here because he'll probably be at the end of this season, as I said. And I wonder if they'll show anything about Whitebeard yet, or we'll just wait until the end of Alabasta for that. That'd probably be the better way. At the very end of Alabasta, have it where the part where Shanks sends what's his name, his one subordinate to send that letter to Whitebeard, and we get a glimpse, like a silhouette of Whitebeard for the first time. That would be awesome. So anyways, I hope you guys are excited about season 2 as I am. And what did he say? Yeah, he also even talked about here about the people, Chopper as well, like the people not casted yet. So those plenty of questions to have there, but they're releasing little stuff like this to keep the fire stoked, I suppose you could say. And it certainly is working for me. So I'd like to hear your thoughts about that. If anyone in the comments section, and I don't think the new chapter came out today. I'll probably be doing it later tomorrow because I have shopping to do in the morning. Uh, anyways, yeah, the season 2. Just keep it up, guys. You're doing a great job. You succeeded with season 1, and I hope Netflix gives you the time you need to make this the season not feel crammed. So thanks for watching.